And I think the thing that finally broke my back tonight, the straw that broke the camel's back, was that interception. And they showed I got the screenshot, I can share it if you want, was the shot of the sideline and Brian, Ferentz, and Petrus just laughing about it. How in the world you can do that when you probably just lost the game and laugh about it is just unacceptable in my book. I've coached sports, granted they're only high school, but if I saw one of my coaches laughing if we just turned over the ball, I would be furious at that coach. I'd be so mad at them. Why are you laughing at this moment? That's just unacceptable. And if that's the way you're going to be about it, maybe you shouldn't be here anymore.
I respect your thoughts, Paul. Now, I think if you were to ask Brian, I don't know, I guess I did see at one point where Brian was smiling and it felt like a weird time to smile, but I didn't read into it too much. However, I didn't see exactly what you saw. If you asked Brian without seeing it, if you asked Brian or you asked Kirk and he looked back at it, they would probably defend it and say, well, that had nothing to do with the interception. It was, but I understand your point. And this has occurred in other sports with other teams. When you see body language on the sideline that indicates to a fan base that you don't care as much as the fan base cares, and whether that's right or wrong, I get where you're coming from.
I don't think it's if you care more than the fan base. I mean, it's just body language in general. Like, if I'm the offensive line, I see my offensive coordinator laughing of what just happened. How does that make me feel as a player?
Yeah. That's true.
I don't care about what the fans' reaction is. I'd care about what the player reaction is. I mean, he's laughing that we just possibly just lost the game.
Just for a moment, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Under the Kitchen, doing great stuff. Randy Engel and his authentic Hawkeye artwork. He's got deals with a number of players, former players, and I think some future players are in the pipeline. Visit Under the Kitchen on Facebook. Great gift ideas for your favorite Hawkeye friends. And Ascent Nutrition. Use the code Hawkeyes at checkout, whether you're buying coffee, which is great. It perks you up in the morning. It's mold and mycotoxin free, or any of their other great products. Use the code Hawkeyes for 15% off, courtesy of Ascent Nutrition and from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Visit goascentnutrition.com to learn more about these outstanding products.
And the first caller had made a comment on it, and was when that Spencer Petras threw that interception. He's talking to Spencer on the sideline, and he starts laughing and smiling. I'm just like, why are you smiling for? And there's someone made a comment like, well, he's trying to calm him down, but it's like, you got to know the situation. You can calm a guy down, but if you're on the sidelines laughing and smiling, it's a horrible look. It absolutely looks horrible. And
I didn't notice that same thing. I don't know how much time was left, but there wasn't a lot of time left, right?
It was like a minute. It was a minute 30 left, and Iowa still had all three timeouts. But
and it was right before Illinois turned the ball over to us for one last attempt.
Let me just ask because I didn't see that, and Alex, you're the second person to bring it up. Don, you saw it.
Yeah, it does exist.
Okay, so now that we've got confirmation, that kind of ticks me off. To be quite frank, without even seeing it, that kind of just riles me up even more here. An hour and 50 minutes into the show. What the heck are we smiling about, Don?
I don't know.
I saw that, and I'm not a violent person by any means, but I
good.
Like, I jumped up and I'm just like, I was so angry when I saw that. Like, it was probably I was angry watching this entire game.
Okay, so let me just get straight. Was it Petras or Brian or both that were smiling and laughing?
Brian was smiling and laughing when he was talking to Petras. And
so
Petras
my question is, Don, you're a former head coach. I'm not asking you to speak on what to do about that or if you should do anything about we're blowing it out of proportion. Don, what would you do when you were at Western Illinois if you had a head coach that you saw on a replay after the game in a situation like that was laughing or smiling, even if it was about something else that the TV viewers didn't know about? How would you handle that situation as a head coach?
Well, at the very least, I would pull him aside and say, rather than embarrass him in front of the staff and simply explain that is absolutely unacceptable. There's nothing funny about the situation we're in. Coach Fry was this way. If it was a tight situation in a game, if he even saw a smile on a player's face, he would call him on it. He would say, I don't know what's so funny. He might say that to a player.
Well, Go ahead.
Players shouldn't be held to the same standard as the coach, I guess. I'm not sure why. Who knows what the discussion was about, but I have to admit I did notice that it was a smile, or maybe even it appeared to be at least a smile, if not a chuckle about something that happened. Who knows what that might have been.
Well, and when I saw that, that said to me that this is a guy who does not fear for his job. It means he feels like he has total immunity. And that's, I think, what pissed me off.